Good morning, everyone. Another quick intro to the video today. There are bones and blood and things that not everyone is going to want to see. It's not as much as yesterday. It's mostly just raw meat. So, fair warning. We have a very, very busy day going on today. We have the head cheese that needs to get made today. All of the meat will be coming home to get processed. Well, almost all of the meat will be coming home to get processed today. And then making lasagna for dinner. So it'll be a busy day. We'll take you along, get you a video of what we can. I'll talk to you in a little while. Alright, everybody. So the boys are back from where we got the pig processed yesterday. These are all bony bits that are going to soak in the roaster. Let everything soak down, take the meat off, just kind of shredded it, and it'll go in, and then we'll have bone broth. We've got 4 large roasts, a good tenderloin strip, and 2 big parts of ribs, and then this whole bundle of ground pork. So that is our process that we're going to be going through right now, is getting this stuff all packaged up and in the freezer. So that's where we stand for the moment. We'll check in later. Alright, everybody. So we still have the stuff with the bone on, waiting for the roaster. I've separated out 6 pounds of sausage that I'm going to attempt to make into maple breakfast sausage, because we all love breakfast sausage around here. So I'm going to add some maple, some sage, some thyme. There's already salt and pepper in the pork. They did that when they processed it down. So we're going to get some mixing in and try and make some breakfast sausage. And then we still have all of that to either freeze as just pork or make into different types of sausages. I've gotten all of the big roasts and ribs put into vacuum bags, ready to go in the freezer. I've been working for about an hour, maybe a little bit longer, but that's where we're at for now. I'll check in again later. Okay, so I have the 6 pounds of ground pork separated out that I'm going to use for breakfast sausage. I have dried thyme, dried sage, a few cloves of garlic, and some good maple syrup. The recipe that I'm using, I will post in the link below. It does call for salt and pepper, but like I said, this was already salt and peppered when they ground it. It also calls for paprika, but the only paprika that I have is smoked paprika, and I'm not really interested in having a smoky flavor to this sausage, so I'm going to skip the paprika. I'm going to do a teaspoon of sage per 2 pounds, so 3 teaspoons, and 3 teaspoons of the dried thyme, maybe a little less because thyme is pretty strong, and then it's a 1/4 cup of maple syrup per 2 pounds. The recipe I'm using actually calls for a mix of sausage and turkey, but I'm just doing pork, so I'm going to go ahead and set up and do this real quick, and we'll get back to you. Alright, so that is it for the maple sausage. I am going to get set up and just bag the rest of this as ground pork. We can pull it out and season it how we choose to for whatever we're making it for as we go. Maybe one day I'll have the time and gumption to separate it all out, but I do still have lasagna to make for dinner tonight and head cheese to get into loaves and in the fridge. So for now, this is all just going to get bagged up as ground pork. I will check in with you guys later. All right, everybody. So Mike and the kids worked on getting the rest of the pork bagged up and vacuum sealed for me while I got the lasagna started. So we ended up with 49.5 pounds of ground pork. 6 of that was made into maple sausage. 2 of that went into the pan to go with dinner. And then we also have the ribs here, the tenderloin, the 4 big roasts, and the shank. So that's all getting ready to go in the freezer. That is quite a lot of meat. We also still have the bacon and the ham coming. We have the head cheese, which isn't counted with any of this, and the lard that we will render. So, all in all, pretty good haul of pork. I'm excited to have fresh pork. We'll check in with y'all later. Alright, so moving on to the next thing today. We have the meat that we pulled out of the head after it boiled all night long. And then this is the collagen and broth and everything left over from the head boiling overnight. And we've let this reduce down throughout the day. We're getting ready to strain it so that we just have the gel and everything, and that'll set the head cheese. And then Mr. Brown is going to mix up some, what do you call it, corn? Corn husk, which is not something I'm familiar with. I think it's like a scrapple, has the cornmeal in it with the gelatinous stuff and the meat from the head cheese. So that's where we're at. All right. Excuse me. So we have 1 large loaf pan of each the corn husk and the head cheese, and then 2 small loaf pans, 1 of each. We're letting them cool on the counter a little bit, so we're not putting them in the refrigerator warm. And then they'll go in the fridge to get nice and congealed. The corn husk you fry up kind of like a cornmeal mush for a meal, and then the head cheese you just slice up and eat like a deli meat. So we will get these cooling overnight and see how they turn out tomorrow. Now we are going to get the rest of the bones and the rest of the broth from boiling the head back in the roaster and let the bones cook down for at least 24 to 36 hours. And then we'll pull the meat out again and make some bone broth. Alright, so all the pork is in the freezer and we are moving on to layering lasagna in the pan to get it in the oven. I have my cheese mixture over there, our meat sauce, lasagna noodles, and a little bit of extra sauce to go on the bottom layer and the top layer. So here. Alright, so here's our finished pan of lasagna. It'll go in the oven just like this without the extra cheese on top. Let it cook for about 45 minutes. Check and make sure the noodles are done through. And then we can top it with the rest of the mozzarella that Mike just shredded up for me. And then let that get nice and bubbly and brown, and we will have a lasagna for dinner. I do always recommend putting a cookie sheet underneath of your pan when you're making anything like this, because it will probably boil over, at least somewhat, and this just protects your oven from a mess. We'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Alright everybody, so there is our finished lasagna. We also have garlic bread going. I knew I wasn't going to have time to bake today, so I did buy the $1 loaves of Italian bread that you can get at most Walmarts in the fresh bakery section. Then you just take some butter, crush up some cloves of garlic, add a little parsley and basil to it, spread it out over the bread, stick it under the broiler in the oven for about 5 minutes, and you have nice toasted garlic bread for dinner. So we are getting ready to eat. I will check in with you guys in a little while. Alright, closing out today's video. It has been a very, very long day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video we were able to get today. Like I said, it was a very busy day in the kitchen. Plus, we think Piper got a spider bite or something going on the back of her neck. We're going to keep a close eye on it. Seems to be doing okay, but she got kind of a little lump going on. So, everything kind of overlapped today. I hope you enjoyed what video we got, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow is a much calmer day.